What I would like to present here is bring you a little bit closer to based on my experiences from the human perspective, what's going on in the market, what we are doing at Tech Data. My job at Tech Data is to business development with Cisco, with a special focus on Cisco's digitalization product portfolio only, and with a special focus on the worldwide operational partners of Cisco, like the Rockwells, like the Siemens, Emerson, ABB, which are totally new markets for the IT market. And later on I will explain you why. So presentation, a short outlook on our EMEA organization, how we do that, what is our approach. And afterwards, the second part, Cisco's IoT digitalization approach and Kinetic IoT platform. And after the presentation, during the break, my notebook is connected with our demo lab in UK, Bracknell, and one of our system engineer, Evan Unruh, is on the opposite side of the system, and we can show you live Kinetic presentation for predictive maintenance. If somebody have interest to have a look, this presentation is approximately 15 to 20 minutes. First slide show why IoT is not so easy, because it's a fundamental change in the sales structures. We cannot sell anymore like we did it before, because the classical sales in the IT is that an IT guy go at the customer side to the IT staff, they make an agreement, start a negotiation of prices and configuration, and and then at the end we have a deal. Great. The decision making changing actually. Why? Because we sell not to IT anymore, but we sell to the operational guys. Means that an operational guy is motivated to go into the digitalization because he will have an outcome of it. For example, predictive maintenance. You can sell it to a leader of an operational, a manufacturing guy. Why? Because he will be successful if he is able to avoid any manufacturing down. It means that the return of investment for him is great. One of the example is a really huge car manufacturing supplier. The 1 hour manufacturing line down costs them 600,000 euros per hour. This is our future customer. We have to convince them this will be definitely our stakeholder in the future, because we have to convince those guys to start a digitalization project with us, because this is his motivation. Another example, optimization. Who is a real motivated person? Finance, for example. My question, is the IT department motivated to run this kind of conversations, which is, by the way, our classical customer from our classical comfort zone? No. Why? Because for the IT, this is an additional challenge. There is no available budget for it. There is no available resources for it. And by the way, if we have a successful IoT digitalization project, who will be the hero in the company? The operational guy. If we fail, who will fail? The IT guy. For example, security. This is a big fear of everybody in the organization, because we go outside of the classical environment, from the classical network systems, from the classical data center solutions. We start to connect a lot of additional things. And this is a really big fear for all the IT guys. That's why we have to change the mindset. And we have to change our approach in front of the customers. This is a cultural view. From the technological view, it's a very complex story. First, as I mentioned previously, security. If you open the newspapers, every week you see a cyber attack. I got a couple of weeks ago a very funny story about that. Some crime people from Russia, Ukraine, or whatever, penetrated a Las Vegas casino via the temperature sensor of the aquariums. Sensoric. Nobody was expecting that they do this, but it happens. It means we have definitely to be prepared on this. And my advice, based on my experiences with many, many customers, first start always to run the conversation with the security part. Because this is one of the hottest topic on customer side everywhere. If you are able to convince them that you are aware of the security issue, if you are able to convince them that you know that this is a threat, this can be really dangerous, then you can start to build up the trust with the guys. The next one, automation and management, critical management, because you will be managing millions. Later on I will show you how complex this can be. Ecosystem-based open standards, thanks for the previous presentation, open standard. You can only sell with open standards. Why? Nobody can execute an IoT project alone. You need sensoric, you need automatization, you need industrial network, you need analytic, you need cloud computing or whatever. It means you need an ecosystem. An ecosystem works only if the different products are compatible to each other. And last but not least, we are talking about IT and data. Everybody is able to generating mass of data. I had a conversation about SCADA solutions with Rockwell, which is great and perfectly. What's the point? The customer do not need data. The customer needs information to make decisions. And this is very, very important, how we are able, in a simple way, to transform all the available data to information. And by the way, how we can consolidate the data. For example, customers, some of the customers have 100 different data information channels in the organization. One in the manufacturing for the painting machines, the other one for the different machines and HR tools and whatever. The point that the customers show interest to consolidate all this kind of information and data. How do we attack data? This is a previous slide you show already in Canton's presentation. You see the complexity, but I think the key point is that we at Tech Data are able to make this to you simple. We simplify because we know the strengths and the weaknesses of the different companies, and we generating you pre-paid packages to make it as simple as possible. What we need the right contact on customer side with help of you to start a conversation with the customers, what the real need of the customer is, where the customer do have a pain. What is a challenge? And if we know this kind of challenge, then we can help to everybody. How it comes? That we can support you. This is a classical Tech Data diagram, the 4 alternatives to sell. Partner leads and Tech Data fulfill. Partner leads, Tech Data support. Vendor lead, Tech Data fulfill, and Tech Data lead and partner pulled. This is a classical one. The actual situation based on actual revenue or plan for this year on EMEA is 200 million euros. And this is a share between the different parts. Tech Data mainly fulfill and partner leads. Based on the new structure and based on the demand what we got from customers, and by the way, good news, we are on target. This is how it looks like in 21. It means that the support side from Tech Data side increasing double-digit incrementally. Why? Because there's a need from customer side, one side, to buy the knowledge, not only the product in classical way. And just one step at this point, if you have a look on the classical development of the distribution during the last 30 years, which I think makes sense, then have a look on 25, 30 years ago, distribution was started with box moving. Distribution, reseller, wholesaler, both a box, margin, logistic, sold it. Then in the evolution of the distribution, the next level was, we started to sell software solutions. The next layer was that we sold services to install different softwares, for example, on the systems, sold it. I don't know who is aware of it, but for example, there is a VBlock solution from VCE, which is partly Cisco part, Cisco EMC part. This is made by Tech Data. Tech Data is behind to make all this integration of the solutions are completely stacked. And now we come to the next layer, which means that the IT and digitalization became so complex that for a project we can offer to customers or special deep knowledge. It means that you can buy this kind of knowledge, this technical support, and all around the story from us. Why? Because it do not make sense to invest in some engineers for one dedicated project in this one specific dedicated knowledge. It's easier for a lot of, but not only easy, cost efficient, that some of the knowledge you simply buy and use it for the period of this project, and that's it. How we do this? We focusing mainly in our IoT EMEA team on this service enablement. Why? 30 or 40% of the value is this. And if you see all the companies, Azure, IBM, Bluemix, Vadstena, Cisco Jasper, Cisco Kinetic, this is not a unique thing what we are doing. Have a look what Microsoft is doing. Have a look what Oracle doing from the cloud, what doing SAP. Everybody moving and switching from the product sales to the solution sales. And on the subscribing business models, and. Because this is actually what the customers need. And this is, by the way, where we see definitely very, very clear where the completely market is transforming. Next one. This is the actual organization. Why I show you? Just to show that we have a Sweden organization, but behind the Sweden organization, we have a pretty large 45 people already available for all the technical support, for all the dedicated products. We have the engineer knowledge and all the architects, solution architects team for the dedicated IBMs, the Microsoft and the Cisco's, and. It means if you would like to start with us such a project, just knocking on the door, contact our colleague in Sweden, and you can be sure that we have a complete, very strong support behind those guys. And this is one of my favorite slides because this shows very, very transparent. In one slide what's going on here. We're focusing on the industry, transportation, logistic, retail, smart spaces, period. No agriculture in the focus at the moment, and no healthcare at the moment in the focus. Pretty simple because of the European Union's regulations. It's so tough in this environment that at the moment it's really challenging to penetrate this market. By the way, this is a market which is big enough for us. The classical sales go to the leading partner and sell of the line of business or whatever. What I show you now is this new model, what you can buy as a product, let me say, all these additional solutions. All the solution consultancy, all the solution architecture, all the vendor solutions, and. This is a new art of product, this is a new art of cooperation with our partners because they need it. Because from the finance point, this simple is the model which makes sense. IoT vendor ecosystem. And very, very important that a completely service consultancy for every single dedicated supplier, which means that we focusing on dedicated suppliers, not only on supplier in a classical way. It means that we start a pre-negotiation, and if we see that this product can be compatible with our ecosystem, do we get support in this direct direction? They are not motivated only just to do sales through, but we get the right support for new things, and then we implement it. We make with them business model, analytic and so on, and then we execute. And for all these products, we have the security team behind us who can support. This is already showed by Kenton previously about the solution factory. What I would like to highlight that we have dedicated partners, and as I mentioned previously, we have trained engineers and system engineers for these kind of products. From my point of view today, what I see, the mainstream in this environment, or the companies who have the same motivation like we do have, is definitely it's Microsoft, it's Cisco, is AWS, from the sensoric side, Panduit and IFM, and from the analytic side, IBM with the Watson. And if we collect this one, then we see that we are able to covering the sensoric side, the transformation of the data, the platform, for example, with the Cisco Kinetic, what I will show you afterwards, and up to the cloud and the Analytic. It's an end-to-end solution. The important is that the end-to-end solutions are proven solutions, and the products are compatible to each other. This is one of the biggest challenge of the OT partners on the industry side, because they have no experience with the IT. And they start a lot of conversations with different manufacturers. And I had this experience, the customer was totally confused and told me, last week visited me supplier A, today supplier B, tomorrow supplier C, and everybody explains his own story. But I have no experiences with it because I'm coming from the operational side. How can I make a decision? This is a challenge. And this is a very, very good opportunity to start as a trusted advisor in front of these operational partners, build a trust, and afterwards involving the IT team and develop this kind of projects. This is already, now come to the next part of the presentation, Cisco Kinetic platform. I picked out a Kinetic platform because I think this is one of the most important. This is a pillar of what Cisco today doing. Cisco is struggling, by the way, with the digital transformation in EMEA, and US they are absolutely perfect. The point is that the classical Cisco sales is focusing on the product sales. It's contacting the classical way the IT teams, and if you're selling for 20 years, for example, in a classical way, network products, then it's pretty difficult to change your mindset from one day to the other one and accept that there's a much, much bigger market, and I'm not anymore a network sale, I'm a salesperson of a global IT company, which have a lot of new products. For example, 5 years ago, they started to selling servers, and they started to go into the virtualization segment, and. Catalyst 9000 family is one of the first one where Cisco started with the software-defined sales. Why? Because they had problems with the margin against the Chinese and all the Far East manufacturers on the classical hardware side. Next level is everything software-defined. It's more secured, and you can manage it much, much better. And the customers can get it on a subscribing business model as well. This is absolutely heavily in the focus on Cisco for fiscal year 19, the industrial network to sell and gain new markets. The second one is the security. I don't know are you aware of it or not, but they did already $2.3 billion cash company duo. And last but not least, software. Yes, Cisco is number 4 software company worldwide after Microsoft, SAP, and Oracle. The point is that it's still not consolidated, it's the software part of the guys. Some of them belongs to the networking business unit, some of them to the securities unit, some of them to the UCS data center unit, some of them on the collaboration unit, for example, like the Spark and so on. And they heavily increasing their portfolio with mergers. It means that they are really do it seriously, they penetrate this kind of new markets, and they see their own future in this market. This is a very simple diagram. I think everybody can execute. We have a machine, we have data from the machine, we have sensors, we have an application, and derive business value. Nice word. Works perfectly. Every customer have it. Great. But what if it became complex? You have much, much more data, much, much more sources, much, much more applications. And how you can derive business out of it. And you have different locations. You have different databases, different formats, some of them on-prem, off-prem, cloud, whatever, some of in Asia, some of Mexico, machines, autonomous cars, a lot of things. You have to connect them. And it's becoming more and more complex. And this is the evolution, what we see now, that it's more and more and more complex. And now we achieve the level where we see that, oh, we have to manage it somehow. And this is the Cisco Kinetic platform. And Cisco penetrated this Kinetic platform and became, after 1 year, based on the IDC Magic Quadrant, immediately leading position, because they are very, very clever how to position with the global American manufacturing industries, like I previously mentioned, all the Honeywells, Rockwells, Eatons. And this became one of the leaders in this story. And this is a Kinetic solutions. What does it mean? That we can, on this Kinetic platform, extract the data from the sources. We can compute the data on the same layer, and we can move the data programmatically to the right applications in the right time. And this is an open source solution. Why? Because this must be open because of the different networks in the customer side, because of many sensor manufacturers worldwide, because of surveillance cameras, because of the different standards of the databases and whatever. It means this is a common tool, like a Swiss knife in the middle, which can handle all this kind of information and to make it ready for the analytic for the future. This is how it looks like. It's you, and it's become more and more complex, and it's connected everything with everything. It means that, as I mentioned previously, the intuitive and intelligent software driven network, then you have the Kinetic, and overall the whole stack, it's on the security side a very important point that in every single part you have the Cisco security solution available. And you have the gateway management, the edge fog, and so on. Sounds easy. The good thing is that it's very easy to handle. And if you have time, as I mentioned previously, then you can come to have a look on the demo how it looks like in live. Actually, we have 18 different pre-programmed solutions of Cisco Kinetic. It means that the system is pre-programmed, I would say, programmed to 80%. And the rest 20%, if the customer needs, we can make some customizing and so on. But you can see that we have in every IoT and digitalization related segments a completely production available. The main product, what I see, and this is my personal view, is definitely the equipment health monitoring, the energy monitoring, the connecting, means industry, predictive maintenance, and the different connected oil, refineries, water industries, utility companies. In smart cities, I see at the moment, again, this is my personal view, we have a problem with the sensoric part, because in the last couple of years there was a lot of trouble with low and cheap China made sensorics in different countries. That's why the public sector is a little bit in a waiting position, just what's going on in this market. But we have in the meantime very nice and new products from trusted manufacturers on the market available for a really good price level. This is a unique thing. We have the exclusivity from Cisco side for whole Europe and North America to sell this starter kit. Means that we have in the US side and now in Europe available in the next couple of weeks this starter kit, which is include all the needed products. You have the sensoric included, you have the Cisco A29 router included, you have a SIM card included if you need, then you have a server included, but you can use Microsoft Azure as well. Why it's important? Because the classical decision makers on the OT side will not invest in something where he do not see the outcome, the real outcome. It's pretty difficult to convince somebody that let's start a digitalization project and invest $20,000 and maybe it works, maybe not. That's why we're offering to our partners, buy it, you can run the show on the customer side, and then you can move it to the next customer, because you have the complete portfolio of the sensoric. A survey of Microsoft say that every customer who invests $10,000 in one IoT project will invest $200,000 additionally during the next 24 months, 20 times more. Because if the the customer start to smell that it's really a game changer and I have an outcome and I can really, for example, avoid a line manufacturing stop, then I will be motivated to invest in predictive maintenance, for example, and. It means that we have to show them not only on PowerPoint the business model, we have to bring them all this demo starter kit here. You have it for the next 2-3 weeks. We help you. This is very important. We can support you to install it, to use it, teach you everything. And if you are satisfied, then you can order it and you can start to develop it. Two use cases at the end, nothing complex. I just would like to highlight the remote refrigeration monitoring model where across our stack we have the different productions of Panduit, but beside of Panduit the different of Cisco, and the other one I mentioned previously, it's a very, very great story, and we have a lot of references for predictive maintenance with all the sensoric Panduit again. For European standard requirements, we have IFM in the portfolio as well, but if you need something else from different sensoric manufacturer, just let us know. That's shortly about my presentation. I am available for the whole day and evening and tomorrow for you guys. If you have any questions, then I will be able to find me. And at 4 o'clock, you are more than welcome to have a look on this Kinetic presentation. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabor.